This is Dragon 30. This is the Indigo Fire Dragon. Okay, so at this stage of the game, we've done some oddball, kind of really creative guys and all that sort of thing. So I thought it was time to just steer this back to a good old-fashioned, fire-breathing dragon. Now, I didn't draw any fire that he was breathing, but I wanted to just stick with, a good old-fashioned dragon that you don't want to see coming. So these are always fun for me, and you can see some of right away. You can just go crazy with all of the little spikes, and all the horns and stuff like that. So to me, that kind of stuff, if when I start to do this stuff, when I start to embellish with the horns and all the spikes and things, I always start to think like, well, you really don't want there to be any good way for this dragon to come at you. And that feels like part of my motivation for the way that I design some of these guys. It's they're just these big kind of rampaging machines that could, just like a T-Rex, would just tear you apart. So the shape itself, again, this guy is, I would say a little more stereotypical in design, in that he has the basic triangular head and stuff like that. The eyes are a little smaller, the horns coming either out of the center of the head, or in this case that's where they are coming out of, but one of the other choices, of course, would be out of the temple areas. So a very almost grid-like pattern to the scales with this plate scaling, and they always feel a little bit like crocodile or alligatory to me also. But I just, at this point, 30 dragons into this, I wanted to just get back to basics on this particular guy, and just really, kind of relax a little bit, to be honest, and have a little fun with just getting them back to basics. Now, the Indigo Fire suggestion could refer to a lot of things when it comes to this. It could refer to the color itself. Of course, it could be a blue dragon. Could be maybe he has this sort of the eyes are lit from within, this sort of bioluminescence, and they're something that they show as blue. Of course, his breath might be blue also, if he were to release some fire at you. It could be a series of blue bursts that starts. It gets darker at the head and gets lighter towards the belly. Some kind of patterning. There's just a whole lot of options, even with something that feels as obvious as this. And I'm kind of interested to see where people take this, because sometimes I think the things that seem the most obvious, or going with like a more standard dragon like this, can provide more diversity than something that has this real specific oddity to it, and then people tend to get driven towards that. So there we go, the Indigo Fire Dragon.